Alright, it's been about a week since Little Nightmares 3 came out. I think it's about time to talk about it. I have some good things to say and some more bad things to say, which is unfortunate, but we'll talk about it all. Of course, minor spoilers ahead. What do you expect? It's a review video. Come on. Alright, let me start with the pros only because there's less of them, so it'll be quicker to talk about. For starters, this game introduced multiplayer in a way that I think is actually really cool. Let me double check to make sure I'm not being an idiot on that. The introduction of multiplayer is great. Love it. I think Little Nightmares 2 could have used some sort of multiplayer as well since you had two characters, but you didn't have them for the whole time, so I don't know how that would work, but whatever. I'm not a game developer, neither are you. Maybe. I don't know. New story. Some people like Little Nightmares 3 because it's unrelated to 6 and Mono and all the events that transpired there. So I put that in the pros, but also the cons, because to me it's more of a con. I need more of 6 and more of Mono, but 6 feels like there's so much more left on the bone. It's like we nibbled on a piece of the wing and then threw the rest in the trash can. Like, we gotta finish our story. Come on. The music, great as always. I definitely still think it's the weakest out of the 3. Even just listening to the main themes in each game, the third one feels overproduced. Like, it feels like it was made for the radio instead of just the soundtrack. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it felt not peppier, it felt poppier, I guess. It was missing some of that, like, wonder, or like some of the tension that's in the original soundtrack. I'm listening to it right now and it's fucking phenomenal. Little Nightmares 2 main theme, best one. But besides the point, accessibility. I did not say that right, but we're gonna move on anyways. Accessibility was a great addition to this game. I think they may have gone a little over the top, but also I don't have any of these problems, so I can't really be like, the colorblind filter is great, or the extra subtitle fonts is wonderful. I don't know about that. But what I do know is that it's always a plus to include as many people as you can. If anyone has that on a cons list, that's a bit worrying, not gonna lie. That's all I really have for pros. The graphics were better when they worked. I'll get into that in a second. There was definitely still some ambiance that was great. You could feel Little Nightmares was in there somewhere, but the game just didn't feel like Little Nightmares. I don't know how else to describe it. First, we're just going to start off with the elephant in the room, the price. This is a $40 game, more expensive than the previous 2, but it has less chapters. It has like 4 chapters that are all very brief. You could do each in an hour on your first playthrough. It feels incredibly short on top of that, and there's a bunch of stuff with the story that kind of never gets talked about. Like, it's the first whole chapter, spoiler, is you're running in like the desert from this giant big baby doll thing looking for her toy, and it's actually really cool, really strong start to the game. And then you finish that, and then at the end of, like, for the rest of the 3 chapters, it's just not even mentioned again. Like, that would have been so cool to see more of, and they just didn't. It's like they were rushed for time at the start of making this game. Second chapter. I don't even remember what the second chapter was. It's gone. It doesn't exist for me anymore. Which, that's a bit worrying, I feel. I shouldn't have forgotten a game that I finished 2 days ago. The third chapter in the circus area, that had a lot of good stuff that should have just been worked on more. Like, the dolls were great. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but just okay. Circus area was cool. It could have been a lot better if they just did more. It felt very empty. Like, looking at it from, like, far away, going into the world, it looked like there would be so much to do. But it was just, here's this tiny hallway, run, here's this slightly bigger room, move this thing to here, and then continue. And it was sluggish. It wasn't great. I think the 4th chapter was probably one of the better chapters. More so for the nostalgic feel of the 1st and 2nd game with that. The enemy in it was like the worst, though. It was not great. The enemy basically just had a long noodle arm and would like move it sometimes, and you would have to run. Every 5 minutes in the last chapter, it felt like it was just another running sequence, which is another big problem I had in the cons list. Way too many running sequences. It was always a thing in all the games, don't get me wrong. But in the beginning, like the 1st chapter felt like you're only running away. The 4th chapter felt like every 5 minutes you had to just hold right or hold back and then right. And they could have done so much more. It felt so sloppy. The bosses, not memorable at all. The first one, the baby was cool, but then it just was never mentioned again. In fact, the whole desert theme was just not mentioned again, which I kind of wish there was more of, but whatever. Besides that, I don't really remember any of the other bosses. The last one looked like the German dude from Captain America, the First Avenger, and Winter Soldier. Whatever his name is, that's what he looked like, just with long noodle arms. You hit a gong, and then you shoot him a couple times, and then he's done. That's for any boss, really. There just wasn't a whole lot of thought put into it. The CPU character. Originally, this was going to be in the pros list. My battery's about to die. But the whole last section, specifically the last fight of the game, the CPU did not work. At all. Straight up. No cap. No gas. At all. It just didn't work. It was so bad. It was frustrating. The last section of the game, the last fight of the Chapter 4 German boss dude, all you have to do is dodge his debris, because he hits this, hits that, hits this. You just gotta dodge the falling debris, hit a gong, same thing one more time, hit a gong, shoot him, and then that's basically it. The CPU character would either just not move from the debris, crushed, or would move last second, crushed, or once the gong falls and you need her to hit it, she would just, because there's a piece of wood in front of it you have to rip off first, she would just like stand, like pretend this is a piece of wood. She would be like this. And then she would help pull it off. If that was awkward to watch, it was awkward to play. It was so bad. It was god fucking awful. Also, the whole relabeling of CPU to AI character now is fucking ridiculous. The whole AI push is a topic for another day, but it's so annoying to keep seeing like AI this, AI that. The most AI character we've ever had in video games, to me personally, is like the Alien and Alien Isolation. The way it learned how to like change its play style based on how you play. That was really cool. But again, not really AI. Upcoming DLC is going to be expensive. I don't remember the actual price. I think it was like 20 or 30 maybe. I don't know. But you have to wait almost an entire fucking year to get the DLC. Which, this game, the ending, did not really end the story at all. It was just, oh, you two got separated. That sucks. Alright, credits. Like, that was literally how it ended. It was just out of nowhere. So the DLC is probably going to solve some of that, but why would you make a game that you need to wait a year on to see the rest of the story? I hate that shit. I fucking hate that shit, dude. It's ridiculous. Make a game, complete the game, and then add some side stuff. Like in the first and second game where it was a completely different character that just pieced together a couple things. New creators, I personally put on cons because you can tell it's from a new studio. This game, 1 and 2 were made from Tarsier Studios, which basically specialize in this kind of stuff. Like Reanimal coming out soon looks incredible. I need to play the demo still, but it looks just like Little Nightmares, but purely Little Nightmares. The new creators were Supermassive Games, which is already kind of weird because they made like Until Dawn and The Quarry, like goofy horror games. Not really story driven, sure, but in a different aspect to how Little Nightmares works. And you can definitely feel that. You can feel the emptiness. It didn't feel like there was as much love put into this game, and it's certainly noticeable. It moves away from 6's story. I also put in the cons list because, again, for me personally, I need to know more. I know that's not the most popular opinion, but it's my list, so I don't care. Come at me, bro. Optimization. I'm saving this for last because this was my biggest fucking problem. I don't know if it was just me. I looked into it a little bit. It didn't seem to be a super widespread issue. This game did not run well at all. I think my average frame rate was like 7.5. I got a powerful fucking PC. Let me tell you, dude. I could play Battlefield 6, max graphics, runs perfectly fine. But I can't fucking play this game at all. Oh my god, it was so fucking frustrating. A game that should have taken me 3.5 hours took me 8. Originally, I thought it was my PC, you know? I set graphics down to medium, I turned off ray tracing, I brought bloom as low as I could, I fucked with VSync and aliasing, didn't really do anything. To the point where I was like, okay, maybe it's my graphics driver. I fucking uninstalled all of that, re-downloaded all the programs for that, re-downloaded the drivers, re-fiddled with everything, and the exact same problem. I think after messing with everything, I probably got an average of 12, 15 frames a second. Ridiculous. So at this point, I'm going to claim it's an optimization problem. I could be wrong, so take this with a grain of salt, perhaps. I don't know, but it did not run good at all, and that really affected my enjoyment of the game, and I won't lie about that. Obviously, I'm going to have some bias because of that specific problem, but that doesn't nullify my problems with everything else in the game. It felt very empty. It was bland. It was boring. Genuinely boring, which I think is the biggest insult you could say to the game because of how just incredible the first and second game was. You could play the second game 5 hours straight and not realize. It was beautiful. Beautiful. But this game just, I don't really want to play it again. I'm going to go back and play 1 and 2 a couple more times. Like, I love 2. 2 is my favorite. As you can see, just mono hanging in there. Hey, bud. Don't fall, please. But I still need 100% those games. I'm not going to with Little Nightmares 3. I'll probably give it another try next year. Once the DLCs come out, I'll get it on Xbox and hope it runs better on that. But, man, it was very disappointing. Anyways, that's all I have to say about Little Nightmares 3. Not great. Not good. Not good. That's my final opinion. Get it on sale. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.